Is there something significant that has happened this year that you feel will stick with you? Or is it like a combination? Deep question, I know.
I'm feeling a bit meta. So I think I'll answer by I'll know in a couple of years what stuck with me and what didn't. Maybe I'm thinking about the good memories. Maybe I'm thinking about the worst memories. Maybe it's that insignificant memory somewhere in between that will pop up 25 years from now and say, that was COVID-19 for me. So I'm gonna go with a meta answer here.
All right, good. Wait, that was a good detour from that question. Well done. No, I'm joking, but that's true because it's only until
no one can answer like that now.
every question that I ask, you're gonna be like, "Oh, it depends in 3 years. Just come back to me in 3 years." No, because that's interesting. Because, like, to be honest, we're still going through it. It's not like the coronavirus has ended today and we're reflecting on it. There's still a lot that we're going through. I suppose I could reword the question because that is quite a big question, and I can understand it can be quite difficult to answer at this stage. But what has been like the mindset that you've tried to carry then through this year? Because I know naturally as humans, when something happens, we adapt. So has it been, I know it might have been more difficult for some than it has been for others, but have you generally been quite positive, or has it been really tough that you're struggling to stay positive? Like, I'm interested to hear your answer, Nadia, because you're like on the front line and like working there, and like I guess it's a different perspective for you.
I would say if you're asking for like a general mindset for 2020, it's a lot of mixed feelings and mixed phases as well. Obviously, there were like moments where it was a bit difficult to be positive. I'm not gonna lie. Also because I'm working in medical facility, and you would just very much you would feel, I guess, the situation enhanced, like even more, because you're also faced with patients. I was never sent to a COVID ward, so I was not working with COVID patients necessarily, but I'm talking about, but that's the thing. So because everything was revolving around COVID, everything else was kind of dismissed and neglected. And for me, for someone whose work is to care about patients, it was difficult to see because, for example, my own ward, I work in pediatrics. My own ward was completely closed. We only reopened month after. In the meantime, I was sent to work in another ward with people who are hospitalized and stay for longer time for physical rehabilitation. And it was an amazing experience because I've learned so much, because it's different specialty. I've learned so much and it was really amazing. Like, I have very good memories from that. But it was very hard to see that, for example, people, it's very basic, but people in this ward usually stay for months, if not a year or more, hospitalized, because it's a very long process. And at some point, visits were closed. And right now visits are closed again. So there was a time where visits were closed, then they were allowed to have visits, but just like in a specific room, watched over by a specific person. It really felt like a prison. And that for me was very hard to see because I was going in and out. I was going back to my parents and just having some sort of a life, alhamdulillah, and they were just stuck there, and it was very hard to see for me. So that was a bit, for me, that was a bit harsh because I was like, it's just not working. It's not okay to do something to people can't really do anything. And for some people, it was very hard to not being able to be visited by their families. But it was it was actually a great opportunity to be sent to another ward because as I've said, I've learned a lot of things. At the same time, really at the beginning, when it was all new and very weird, like first period of lockdown. I was also a bit scared because I live with my parents. I had some, like the patients I was working with were also quite vulnerable in terms of pathology and all. So I was feeling a bit like I'm dangerous to everyone because I'm going in and out. So that's not a great feeling. But then we got used to it, and then everything got a bit normal somehow. But yeah, overall it's a bit of like I would say if I could sum up the mindset, it's a mix of learning to surrender because really like you don't control anything, literally nothing, and like know the pandemic situation, know the laws or the restrictions that are going to be enforced on you by authorities or hierarchy in your work. And at the same time also strive because you have to try better. Like for example, I had to learn new things in another unit. As has happened to many people as well. You also not get bored. So it's a mix of these two things, I think.
Yeah, well,
I don't know about you guys.
Like that, there's a lot there, but like really.
Sorry.
No, but it was really interesting because like there's also like a generalization of people who are in the health sector that like every single person that works in the health sector is dealing with a COVID patient, and it's like no, like they have their specialities, they have their roles, but I like the fact that you found a lot of elements that you were like, oh, okay, had it not have been for this situation, I would never have been able to expand into this and this. I'm interested to hear your answer on this one, Anis, because we were making fun of Sweden earlier of being like the fairyland that is not like us, where our case rates are through the roof. And yeah, tell us about your situation in terms of your mindset throughout this year and how it's been.
Yeah, it was indeed a different experience, I think, seeing how countries one after the other going into lockdown and somehow seeing life going on as usual. I put it between brackets. First and foremost, I felt thankful that I was in good health, that I wasn't affected directly, and had the privilege of my family staying healthy. It was a thankfulness that I could still live my life compared to many other people in Europe. I wasn't going out and doing crazy stuff, but going on walks, being able to shop for groceries in a normal fashion. Those things, you don't think about them until you're faced with pictures and news from how things are locked down elsewhere. But the key word is thankfulness. Alhamdulillah. Shout out Habib. It consolidated past growth and also ushered somewhat of a desire to learn more. I changed my my field of work completely. Went from a work that was centered around people to digital marketing. So that shift also made me feel privileged that I still had a job to do that I liked and loved, and made me understand more about my environment and make me feel deeply about people.